Boyfriend won't have sex, but won't let me go. I guess it's about time I posted in here. I'd like to note that I have given my boyfriend several outs and opportunities to leave this relationship and to do so amicably. My boyfriend and I have been dating now for almost a year, December. I told him this morning that we need to discuss going our separate ways. Currently, we live together. He just turned 29 2 weeks ago. I will be 42 in January. For the record, he pursued me. I asked him over and over again if my age was a problem for him. He said no. Our bed life was great the first 5 months in. On average 3 times a week, sometimes more than once in a day. He shared with me that he wants children and that it would be a deal breaker if I couldn't get pregnant due to my age. He gave me till August to get pregnant or call it quits. We started trying in March. I learned a lot about fertility since then, tracking my cycles and ovulation, things I never knew before. I spent most of my life avoiding pregnancy and on birth control, so trying to conceive was a new journey for me. I have one child from a previous relationship who will be 14 in January. We skipped over April, tried in May, and by June, everything changed. He pulled away. Sex dropped to about once a week, and he began avoiding my fertile windows. He claimed that sex felt forced and wasn't fun anymore. During this time, other things changed too. He took on a new managerial role at work and was transferred. He stopped spending time with me in bed talking before we fell asleep. He stopped cooking dinner with me and started using TikTok to de-stress when he came home. 15 to 20 minutes of TikTok turned into 2 hours. And slowly, going to bed together dwindled too, and I found myself going to bed alone. He started rejecting my advances to be intimate, and when we were intimate, I noticed that he didn't care to please me anymore, and that most of our positions were P*RN based and had no emotional connection. About a month into his transition to work, I discovered he had been Snapchatting an employee, sending selfies. He claimed it was for onboarding procedure, and that this was the only way to contact her. I called BS. As far as I know, there were no nude photos, but then again, I was not allowed to see the full extent of the conversation. He doesn't allow me to go through his phone, and I have never asked. He showed me the picture and the last few exchanges between them while holding his phone. His protectiveness over his phone has always bothered me, but I've respected his wishes. He agreed to delete her, but also said I had to delete one of my male friends to make it even. He has since continued adding female employees to his Snapchat despite it making me feel uncomfortable. He says that I'm just trying to be controlling and tell him who he can and cannot be friends with. About 2 weeks later, I stumbled across videos he had saved. Videos from an app that produces one-on-one sessions with women doing sexual things to themselves. The initial videos are free, but members can pay for exclusive content and conversations. I was beside myself as I consider this cheating. He argued that it is just like porn, and I refuted, saying that porn is impersonal, whereas these videos are very personal. He deleted the app, stating that I am more important. I told him deleting the app was one thing, but I know he could always go back and re-download it and delete it again before I get home. Again, he accused me of being controlling and taking things too seriously. He claims I think too much and think too deeply about things. The rejection/avoidance continued on for 3 months and well into August, and all my fertile windows were skipped over. He never even tried. I tried to be understanding due to his new position at work, but then midway through the summer, he said, "I just don't think you can get pregnant." I just lost it on him. His rejection, lack of initiation, and avoiding my fertile windows at this point were all because he chose to avoid bedtime. He said to me it should only take one time. Despite the fact that I had explained to him how pregnancy works, he insisted one time should be good enough. He then told me how he got a girl pregnant last year on a one-night stand, but she chose to have an abortion. I'm honestly doubting the validity of that story now. Part of me just thinks he made it up, as he said, "I don't think the problem is with me, I think it's with you." I broke down, said a lot of things, mean for sure but also true, and broke up with him. Part of what I believe the issue is that I think he has low T. He has all the symptoms. Weight gain, hair loss, hair thinning, hormonal acne, muscle loss, gynecomastia, difficulty maintaining erections sometimes, difficulty achieving an orgasm sometimes it even hurts when he orgasms, LL as far as I can tell. Nothing gets him turned on, not BJs, making out, hand jobs, sensual touching, lingerie, spontaneity, role play, anything and everything I have tried. I have a past in BDSM and he isn't interested in that either. He agreed to work on these things and we stayed together. We tried to get pregnant in September, but he waited until the very last minute that I was ovulating and to get pregnant, and you need to try within the 5 days prior to ovulation. Another bust. He keeps reminding me that I agreed to the time frame for getting pregnant, which in turn enrages me because I can't get pregnant by myself and he refuses to participate. I feel like this is a type of relationship fraud. How can I be held to an agreement that he won't hold himself to? He then accuses me of being angry all the time. I tell him to stop gaslighting me. With all this said, I do know that he does continue to self-pleasure for 2 reasons. 1, I can hear him. The walls are thin, the floors creak, and his bed is squeaky, so I get to hear it all. 2, he has a nasty habit of jerking off onto the bedroom rug and leaving it there. The accumulation is so gross. I did complain a while ago about it, and he tried cleaning it, but I can still see when there is new semen. He self-pleasures more than he with me. In the meantime, he continued to add girls from work on his SM. And one new hire he came home raving about. He didn't stop talking about her for almost 2 weeks, and it really got to me. One night while I was treating his ear infection, I noticed the new hire popped up on his watch via Snapchat, friend requesting him. I specifically asked him not to add her. He did, of course, anyways. This caused issues as well. Again, he claims I'm controlling, and I claim that he has no boundaries or respect for this relationship. He accuses me of trying to micromanage his life. He's asked me if I think we have generational differences, and I've said that I don't think generational issues is the problem. I believe what I want is normal, intimacy, respect, boundaries, communication, honesty, transparency. I believe what I want isn't asking for anything more than the basic foundation for a healthy relationship. I think what he wants is an easy relationship that he doesn't have to invest in or work on. He has compared me a great deal to his ex-girlfriends, all of whom were in their teens, early 20s. His last girlfriend in particular, he compares me to a lot, and she and I couldn't be more different. She lived at home with her parents and a very protective father. He was in love with her and wanted to marry her. Supposedly, she felt the same way. My boyfriend says she could be very immature at times, but the hard reality here also is that she broke up with him after 2.5 years. Apparently, they went out partying on New Year's Eve 2022, and when she woke up in the morning she just told him, "I'm done," and left and never gave him a reason. Apparently she went NC with him except for him to get one of his gaming systems back from her. Yes, I know, that's a red flag. He told me twice since then that having S*X with me feels like taking a shower. It just feels wet, he doesn't feel anything else. Not turned on. As far as I can tell, nothing has changed with me physically. I'm still pretty regular on my periods and don't have much in the realm of symptoms of perimenopause. I have brought up that I think he is depressed. He says he is happy with himself. I brought up his porn use and the famous death grip, and he actually won't address those topics at all. He just goes quiet, dismisses it, and changes the subject. He asked me a while ago if he didn't want to have sex anymore, what would I do? I told him that if it weren't for a medical issue and the other person isn't trying to fix it, then I would leave. S*X is important to me and an important part of a relationship. He didn't like my answer. He says sex isn't that important to him. He says he can go without sex for months. Again, I gave him an out to leave the relationship, but he says he wants to work on it. I broke down and said I couldn't do this anymore. I told him the rejection was really getting to me, that I was losing my attraction to him. He agreed to give me another year to get pregnant. Since August, sex has dwindled to about every 2 weeks. We skipped my fertile windows again, and now here we are at the end of November. Once again skipping over my fertile window, and we have had once right before my period, over 20 days ago. To add to the continued realm of girls in his life, 2 weeks ago for his birthday, he received a $50 gift card and a brand new guitar from a former employee whom, as far as I know, he hasn't seen or spoken to in almost a year. He claimed she texted him to wish him happy birthday and they exchanged conversation and that she asked for his address. He says he doesn't know why she spent all this money on him, but that I'm just jealous that she could afford to buy him a guitar and I couldn't. I'm not jealous. I went all out for his birthday and spent way more than her, having 2 birthdays parties, one for him and one for his family. He then told me he was upset that I didn't give him birthday S*X when I was supposed to. I reminded him that back in August, I told him I was done initiating. That he rejected me for 3 months straight, that it took its toll on me and I'm not playing these mind games anymore. I told him, "You're a big boy. You're a man. You can initiate." He is literally holding it against me now that I didn't initiate S*X on his birthday. I've told him I haven't felt loved by him in months, and that I haven't felt wanted by him in months either. He refuses to go to therapy, he refuses to see a doctor to get his hormones checked. He just accuses me of trying to micromanage his life. No, I don't want a child with him now, I haven't for a while. Yes, part of me wanted to save this relationship for the better, but now I don't think anything is going to change. I'm so burned out. I'm tired of being dismissed, accused of being angry, overthinking and controlling for wanting what I believe are some basics to secure a good relationship. There are so many other things that I believe make him controlling in this relationship. I find him to be emotionally immature and selfish. There is an educational disparity between us. I attended private schools for most of my life and traveled the world, lived in different countries. He is from a poor rural town. While the educational disparities can be obvious at times, he accuses me of belittling him and making him feel small. I have asked him, "Am I belittling you or am I just being myself?" He says he loves that I am smart and he knows I'm smarter than him. I never brought that up. He did. He says he just needs to work on getting smarter for me. I don't need him to do that, and I honestly think he has some low self-esteem going on here as well. Anyways, I really think we are over at this point. I don't need to have another child, and I don't need to have my time wasted or to be neglected sexually. Parts of me do still have love for him, but this is not the future I imagined or want. He is currently sitting in front of his laptop with his earbuds in while I write this, ignoring me.